We're up to episode 11 at Granny, inappropriate cultural waves.
Well, actually,
think...
your tentacles, like, if you hold them straight, nearly make the number 11, don't they?
Well, that's right. We can always get ready for number 12 next. Well, I don't know. There we go.
Yeah, can you do a 12? Yeah.
Well, not yet. I'm not too sure. Like, I can rub them together like I'm planning something nefarious.
You might, if you really worked hard, you might actually even be able to get them to go and make a number 8.
Well, I've been trying to pick my nose with them, but it's not doing too well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I suppose I could probably do my best Dr. Evil impersonation. We'll just have to settle for that, I think.
Yes, that might be the best you can do. Yes.
Yeah, and that's like I was saying in our live this morning. It's hard working with 9 brains. Yeah, they're constantly fighting each other and trying to do what's going on. They're quite extroverted, those brains.
Yes. Split personalities fighting against each other. I've been quite well, thank you. Yes, I've been plodding along.
We alluded to this morning in our eBay accountability live that we do every Thursday at 10 o'clock. A shameless plug. Your performance review's up next week.
Apparently so.
So you might see Granny here next week, or you might see me by myself, or even a new co-host, depending on how Granny performs this episode.
I'll be very interested to see the results.
Well, that's right. Yeah. Well, you picking a fight with Hairy Tornado didn't go down too well, but
I thought having Hairy Tornado on our little thumbnail and alluding to the fact that perhaps he might have been in our podcast might have brought in a few new viewers. But I think maybe people thought because it acted like I was cross with Hairy Tornado. Perhaps that was the thing. They were a bit, cranky because we were cross with him. But we weren't, because he was very generous and allowed us to use his image and had a bit of a chat with me. So that was really good.
And like I said in the live, I tagged him in a few things. I got a thumbs up. And you got 3-page novels. Best friends.
I did.
So obviously he's quite drawn to the older ladies, I think.
Yes. Must be the curlers.
But hey, whatever floats his boat. Yeah, Octopus doesn't judge. Whatever makes you happy. What else has been new?
Well, I've got my world map to actually stay on the wall this week. Look.
Oh, well, that's good. I forgot about that. Maybe that's why we lost all the viewers for, because your world map keeps slapping you in the face.
Possibly. I actually remembered this time to go and actually buy some blue tack, and not the coloured stuff, like the proper old-fashioned blue tack. And, it works a dream.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's good. Yeah.
So I've started scratching off the, which, people probably can't see, but I've started scratching off the little flags of the countries that I've sent parcels to. And then I'll have to cross, you can scratch off the countries.
I can't wait till you invite me around to the nursing home so I can scratch them all off, and then you don't know what you've done. That'll be my nefarious visit.
Yes, knowing you'd scratch off the wrong country on me.
Well, that's the idea, is to scratch everything off, so you don't know what you're sent to, or you don't know what you have sent to.
Yes.
I don't know how much you want to divulge, but Granny mightn't be here with us, but for much longer.
No, I might not be. No. Yes.
Yeah, that's all right. But like I said, your performance review coincides with what's coming up. So, Granny's taking a couple of weeks off. So
I am. So I'm actually going to have back surgery done in Melbourne. So yes, I will be out of action for just a little bit.
Yeah. So
and then watch out.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll be still running the podcast. We'll just have a different co-host a week, or a couple of 2 co-hosts, depending on how well they do. Granny, you might need a couple of people to replace you. So.
Well, yes. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. Like, I take a lot of replacing.
Well, I was just thinking of age-wise. Yeah, if I got 3 30-year-olds, it makes one Granny.
Yeah, of course you'd think of that. Yes. Now, have you got your microphone in the right spot?
I think I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay. Just checking, because the feeling it was just a little bit muffled. Just Yeah,
no, I don't know. Is that better now?
That's a little bit better. Yes.
Yeah, I've just slightly moved it in the upward position, but I definitely have it in the same spot and turned all the way up to the top, so it shouldn't be coming through too muffled. But what else is new, Granny?
eBay's, I don't know about anybody else, but eBay is a bit dead at the moment, isn't it?
So your little tagline there where it says I sell stuff on eBay, you're lying.
Well, I sell not much stuff on eBay at the moment.
Well, let me fix that for you. There we go.
Yeah. It's no, it's been a little bit quiet, but I've been knuckling down regardless because we still have a little bit to go with the 50% off used clothing of our fees. So I've been, trying to get as many pieces of clothing up as I can.
Yeah, and I think we spoke about this last week, but currently in Australia we have a 50% off coupon for our final value fees for used clothing, and 30% for everything else, I think.
Yes.
So
yes.
if you're sitting here watching us, perhaps put your AirPods in and listen to us instead, and actually start listing things, because it runs out on the 22nd of September. So you want to you probably want to capitalize on it as much as you can.
Yeah, and that's partly why I'm, doing it, because, I have my surgery on the 18th, so I will not be able to list anything for a few days. So I sort of thought, well, I better get to and make up for that little bit of time that I'll be missing.
Are you going to schedule listings across that period, or are you just
Yes.
How many listings do you do now?
So at the moment I'm doing 20. I'm doing 20 new ones a day, and I'm doing 5 to 10 old listings. I'm actually ending them and then doing sell similar, updating the photos and updating the listings.
Yeah. And I think we said last week as well, if you use sell similar on previous listings, obviously, they get captured into that coupon as well. So basically, you're 50% off or you're 30% off, depending what you're selling. Will get captured into that sell similar, but don't end your whole store in sell similar, because you'll destroy it.
You will. Yeah, just do a few a day is good.
I think anywhere between like 5 to 10% a day, I think is comfortable. I probably wouldn't go more than that. That's probably a bit aggressive in itself, but you don't really want to go further than that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some vintage shirts at the moment that I'm doing that originally when I listed them, I put them in the vintage clothing section and they didn't sell, but similar things that I had listed in the normal section sold. And so I believe that the reason they haven't sold is because they're in the vintage clothing. So one of the reasons I want to end those is so that I can put them in a new category. The unfortunate part of that is that when you do that, you lose all your item specifics. So you have to put all those in again.
Being the smart octopus that I am, would it be worth paying the 6 cents to add it to a second category? So leave it in the vintage one as your first primary category, then pay the 6 cents and add it to a secondary category.
Well, possibly. Yeah, that's certainly a thought. I hadn't thought of that one, but yes, good thinking.
Yeah, like I said, previously, if it was like $2 or $3 to add a second category, you wouldn't do it that way. But 6 cents, you do 20 listings, that's $1.20.
Yeah, that's very true, because it used to be. I think it used to be like $2.
Yeah, $2.20, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But someone no doubt will correct us in the comment section, and by all means, please put your comments down there correcting Granny all the time. Obviously, you don't need to correct me because I'm right all the time, but
for God's sake, yes.
I know. You think after 11 episodes, my ego would get bigger, wouldn't it?
Well, it's good to know that you've got good self-esteem.
Well, that's exactly right. I haven't got much else going for me other than being an 8-foot handsome naked octopus. But self-esteem is definitely on the progress.
Oh, well, I hope you're not, like naked from the waist down, like the newsreaders sometimes are.
No, well, that's John the Reseller, from what I've been told. That's between you and I. You can use that soundbite, John.
Yeah, use that one, John. See how you go.
Yeah. So whilst you're here, slither over to John the Reseller and give him a subscribe. He needs all the help he can get. He looks like he's burning through some razors, so maybe it might be time for him to get another razor to his head.
Yes.
Yeah, so help him when you can. Yeah, he runs, I suppose, something similar to our accountability live at 9:30 Tuesday and Thursday.
Yes, he does. Yes.
From what I've been told, he likes invading other YouTube channels. Like I think the Cajun Rich Reseller, he was having a live at the time, and half of Australia decided to pour in and assault the poor guy.
Well, it was actually good fun too, because we all sort of nicked across, and there was quite a lot of people in his chat, and I think they all wondered what was going on, because we all went over and said hello from Australia, and like one did, and then next minute there's another one saying hello from Australia, and I think they wondered what was going on, and then we said we were all coming over from John's live stream, and
Johnny probably thought it was an invasion, or you hit the YouTube algorithm jackpot.
Yeah, it was a bit of fun. So
no, it's good. It's good.
One way to get the Australians noticed, I suppose.
Well, that's exactly right. Because this octopus wakes up about 4 o'clock every morning, so I tend to jump into a couple of the American lives when they're available. Johnny, Cajun root reseller. Geez, that's a tongue twister and a half. Change your name. And SSK promo. I normally jump in those ones. Yeah,
yes.
Like I said, there's a few that do obscure hours, like 2:30 a.m. for us. I'm not getting up for that, regardless of who you are. But I quite enjoy it. Like it's a different flavor, and the different things, and gives you kind of an idea of what's going on in eBay, the different realms. Because, like I've alluded to before, is that like they are our customers, not necessarily the resellers, but what their customers are our international customers, right?
Oh, exactly. Yes.
So if we can learn what's bugging them, or what they're actually facing from an eBay perspective over there, we can tailor things around the back of here just to try and get some of those customers over here. So.
And it's sometimes I find it quite interesting too to see the different types of things they sell, because sometimes they sell things that we don't think may have any value as such, but yet they are looking for that sort of stuff. So whether it's a type of book or a specific sort of toy or something like that, but it's interesting to see what they list. So and like Christmas ornaments, for example, like people go mad buying Christmas stuff off eBay over there, but yet it's not sort of something I'm a bit Christmas mad, so I like to keep all the Christmas things for myself.
But even like listening to from Mel, like back from Burnout, and I think she was with ADH Dave, that I was watching one of his videos, that she was basically thrifting with him and the Aussie flipper, almost called him the Aussie thrifter then. They're basically that Mel was picking out books, that would obviously sell well over here, but in a later episode he was saying that they had virtually no worth over there. So it's something you can look at as well. That's a learning opportunity to say, hey, I could potentially get this book from America for $2 or $3 and sell it over here for $60, $70, $80. But
absolutely.
So and likewise, when I was listening to one of Ken's lives a couple of days ago, they were saying that Wii Sports goes for $20 American over there, where over here you can't get rid of it for $3 or $4.
I know. Yeah. Look, I quite often have a book up that's listed and think, like I sold one to Canada last week, and it was from the 1960s, and it was a book about how to look after your diabetes. Like I mean, I almost didn't list it, but then when I me being me, when I saw there was nothing like it anywhere, I thought, oh, look, I may as well list it. And, I sold it within a couple of months, I think, like it wasn't up there for very long, considering that it was a very unique topic and it was very old. And being medical, I thought, well, nobody will want it. But surprisingly, they did.
Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, I suppose that, it could have been a university student to see what diabetic treatments were from back in the 60s and all those different things. It's probably saying drink a can of Coke and it'll make you feel better. But what I learnt from Mel's interview with the book seller that she did earlier in the week, I can't remember his name, and it's going to haunt me for the rest of my life, or for at least another 20 seconds until I get over it. But he was basically saying you need to look for very specific niched books within the certain niche. Like it was fantastic. And I'm not a bookseller by any virtue, but if I find something really obscure and all those different things, I'll give it a look at it. So there's definitely a wealth of information. Like I said, that stemmed from a US bookseller, right? So it's not necessarily you listening to it, but like we said previously, you need to take it with a grain of salt and entertainment purposes only. But if you kind of scratch away all the fluff and all the the fairy lights and all those different things, you can get some pretty good tidbits of information out there.
Exactly. You do. And, so someone asked me yesterday whether the annuals that were bought out, like, Boys Own Annual and all those sort of things, whether they had any value. And as I said to them, the ones that are titled, Boys Own Annual or Girls Own Annual don't really have a lot of value. But if you get annuals that are, very niched and very specific, like from a TV show, like Sooty, or, Play School or something that's just a little bit more unique, then, yeah, they do have a little bit of value and are worth getting.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I used to collect supernatural, like paranormal, like little booklets that used to come out fortnightly just to make sure that they hadn't discovered the Disgruntled Octopus yet in the cryptoid section. And they go for a bit of money now. That I used to pay $5 a fortnight just for like a little book that went into a binder. And if you can get some of those, and they go like really good. So paranormal, the occult, witchcraft, and all those different elements. They've got like a cult following, or not a cult following. I suppose they are a cult, aren't they? But they have that like that customer base and that fan base that like looking for that, and because it's such a niche topic, it's not really that prevalent. Where you've got ghost hunting and all those different things. So, you probably won't find them in a church op shop.
No, you won't. You won't. But I actually managed to pick up a whole heap of stuff like that from my local op shop, because like there's a committee that run them, but they're all very spiritual and Christian religious, and they will not sell any of that sort of stuff. But they had a whole heap of it out the back. So when I was helping them with their books and got to go through it, they said you can have all that because they don't sell it.
No, that's exactly right. Like, we have Salvation Army over here, or the Salvos, and depending on, I suppose, the manager and their ethics, and I suppose their alignment to things like that, they'll either throw them out or keep them and stuff along that. So, if you don't notice that on the shelves, it might be just worth asking a volunteer and say, hey, look, do you have anything in this particular niche that you want to get rid of or you want to sell, or if you do get something in that comes through this this thing, put them aside and I'll collect them on a weekly basis or wherever you go past. So, but definitely look out for that kind of stuff.
I'm going to actually try something new next time I go to Mildura, because I've gotten quite friendly with the Salvo staff up there, and they told me that all their old books, which are the ones that I'd be looking for, get put in a dumpster, because the store policy, or the Salvo's policy, is that anything that's got any yellowing on the pages, which is 99% of vintage books, they throw them out, because I noticed that all their books were fairly new looking. They had none of the older ones, and when I asked them about it, that's what they told me. So I'm actually going to get a big tub and take it in and ask them, would they be prepared to put those books in there, and they'll get collected once a week, because my daughter happens to work in the furniture store right next door.
Yeah, well, that's right. You can even sweeten the deal. Like, what I normally do is rock up with donuts, Ethan Rushock. But what you could do is basically rock up with coffees or donuts, or even, like you said, rock up with a tub and say, hey, look, you fill this tub and I'll give you $20.
Yes.
That you're going to throw them in the bin anyway. So that $20 is $20. So realistically, I wouldn't go much higher than that, because you don't know what kind of quality goods you're getting. But if you build that relationship, there's something there. Like I said, that if you rock up with like cakes or some sort of other form of bribery, I wouldn't suggest bringing the head of your enemies in. But like I said,
I'm not sure whether there is a donut shop in Mildura, but I'll have to check it out, won't I? Because maybe I could take them in some nice donuts, Ethan Rushock.
That's our mindless plug for the week. Well, he said he's quietening down at the moment, so maybe that gives him an opportunity to go and source our donuts that we're so sorely missed.
That's right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we plug him often enough, and tell people to go and watch his YouTube channel, and he's an accountant and does a lot of accounting for resellers if you need an accountant. So,
And he doesn't count many donuts.
No, but he just doesn't cough up, does he?
No, that's all right. We'll have to move on to H&R Block and start promoting them. I'm sure they can.
Yeah, perhaps so. Yes, perhaps so.
Yes. If I was, that's so motivated, I'd get my accounting license just to promote myself.
Become a chartered, what is it, a CPA? Chartered CPA. Accountant. Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it can't be that hard. Yes, but so how's everything down your way? Is it starting to warming up now that we're moving into spring?
Well, yes, the weather has been quite good, and we had a whole town garage sale on Sunday, and the weather was just brilliant for that, which was great. And this morning was quite mild, and now it's freezing cold and raining. So who knows? But yeah, hopefully that won't last long, and we'll get some warmer weather again, which will be very, very good.
Well, it's not too bad in the Bermuda Triangle at the moment. Like, it looks quite warm outside. I don't want to open a window in case all the ocean starts flooding through the window, but other than that, it's not too bad outside. You know, we have a false spring, so basically it'll be nice for a couple of days. Everyone will start walking around in shorts and insulting me with their legs and their whiteness and their hairy legs, and then it will just drop to -16 again. So
yes, that does tend to happen.
But I take solace in the fact that it's pollen season here, so a lot of people are dying from hay fever and falling over, coughing and spluttering. So that warms my heart.
Oh, well, where I live in Victoria is actually known as the worst area in Australia for hay fever.
Oh, because I say for old ladies.
Yeah, well, it probably is because we have a high percentage of those too. But because we have a lot of canola and that sort of thing, flowering crops that grow around here, and they are in full bloom at the moment. So it looks brilliant. You'd be driving down the road and all of a sudden there's this big patch of yellow flowers, and it does look absolutely brilliant. But yeah, people with hay fever suffer very badly at this time of the year around here.
So they should. And speaking of which, that rolls us quite nicely into our segment. What's grinding your gears this week?
Oh, well, grinding my gears. Grinding my gears is the cost of postage, Octo. Like, honestly, postage just seems to be going up. And then I'm watching the news the other night, and there's a news story saying that even like in January, I think it is, they've got to put stamps up again. Like, where does it stop?
Yeah, I suppose for our international viewers that we what would you say? We use untracked letters to send smaller items, like if you're sending maybe DVDs and cheap video games and Lego poly bags, for example, you'd probably use stamps for that because it's not cost effective.
Little scholastic book, that's
stuff like that. So it's not cost. We don't have anything like media mail over here, or we don't have anything cost effective because it pretty much goes from like $2.40 to $8 or $9. That's if you don't set it that way. So it's obviously using stamps is untracked, so there's no way of tracking it. But like Granny was saying, the stamp price over here has gone from $1. What was it, $1.20 at the moment?
So it's $1.20 at the moment. Yeah. So it was $1.10, but then went to $1.20, and now they're talking about putting it up again in January. So and because they said on the news story that I was listening to, they would have put it up by 10 cents, but some other people had heard that it was going to go up to $1.50. So I'm not quite sure.
No, it's
what it will go up to, but
it's $1.50. I've got a communication from Australia Post, so for our Australian sellers, So I'm pretty sure a lot of the Australian sellers probably did see that email saying it's going up to $1.50. I suppose this is something we'll probably lead into this topic. We didn't really have a topic this week, so here's the topic. And I think that postage costs and raising postage costs, and this deals across the international spectrum as well. Well, obviously, Chris Furlong the other day said that postage is one of his highest costs, probably the highest cost, running cost in his business. You probably want to become more, like, without saying like a trend setter in some categories. Granny and I were talking about a category earlier, and previously it was $10 in free postage because you could buy these items for $5 each, and because it was so competitive, it was $10 with free postage. You probably got $1.20, $1.30 profit, but it was a readily accessible product, right?
Yes.
Now, even that market's moved away to a plus postage model because the price of the goods have gone to about $6 or $7, and now it's $10 plus postage. So you'll find a lot of listings around that $13, $14 mark. Or even around about the $11 mark plus, $3 postage or something like that. Because, and 2 or 3 years ago, that was unheard of in that category because it was
absolutely it was
primarily that that everyone did it. And if you want to be competitive in that market, you had to be free postage. And I think that time's coming, because I hear a lot of resellers that I speak to in my circle, so that it's going to absorb the cost, or just go from that way. But I think it's a case that it's going to have to be passed on, because there's only so many times you can actually absorb the cost before it becomes not worth it or not profitable to do it.
Well, that's the thing, because a lot of people absorbed the last rise that we had, and if there's going to be another rise, like at some point you're going to start losing money. So, and even though because in Australia we have the different bands, and the higher band you are, which is obviously the more money you're spending, that's how you go up. You get discounts from Australia Post. The whole of your discount that you get is going to be eaten up because of the rises. So you really have to think carefully. And I just encourage people to actually go in and have a look at their costs and how much money they're making, taking into account the increase in rises, and because if they're doing free post, are they still making enough profit? Because if you're selling something, for $20 or $25, and you're still doing free post, by the time you pay your eBay fees, and if you're doing promoted listings on top of it, you really probably need to sit down and have a look and see whether you are actually making enough profit on that item for the amount of time that you put into it.
Yeah, and a lot of other influential YouTubers, I suppose, like you've got your 18 to 30 model and all these different things, and I think that's it's something that you're going to have to look at, is that you might enjoy selling the product, little reversible octopus plush or something like that, but if there's no accessible way of sending them for cheap, you're competing with resellers in from China and all these different things that get very heavily subsidized postage, where it might be $5 plus $9 to post it over here, but they can have it shipped for $6.
Yes.
So you're instantly not can't think of the word.
You're competitive.
Competitive, that's the word. It's starting to heat up in the Octo there, so I need to get that water bottle out spritzing again.
Yes, but you need a bit of spritzing, and settle a couple of those brains down, and just one at a time.
Well,
maybe.
that's exactly right. Yeah, but the thing is, and I do think that we're probably going to move eventually to a plus postage model, because it's like I said, that. And like you've said as well, is that previously people would say, well, I'll absorb the cost, but it's going to get to the point where are you willing to do all the hard work for $3 or $4 profit? And
exactly.
And
it's one thing to say I'm going to do a volume model and sell a lot more of the stuff, but at a cheaper rate. But you do have to, if your expenses are continually increasing, there's going to get to a breaking point where even doing that volume model that way may not be worth it if you're absorbing all the increases in postage charges. It's just something that, as I said, I just encourage people to actually have a look at it and do a bit of line by line accounting, perhaps for a day or two, and just see what they are making in profit. Because, how much is your time worth?
Well, that's exactly right. Like, so my other eBay store is like a volume-based model, right? But it's gotten to the point where I have to subsidize that store to pay for employees through my other store, because it's well and good that it's volume, but the volume is that's only like $2 or $3 profit per an item, where I'm paying the employee X dollars a week to do the function. It really only self-serves that purpose in Q4 when that product's in very high demand, to go from that perspective. But I said, and there's no way that like a lot of people in that niche, I suppose, could afford to absorb the cost anymore, because it's migrated. Like I said, it was pretty much a 99% free postage model, and now it's probably about 90% plus post.
Well, I started in March. I started doing plus postage on books, and when I did, there was very, very few listings that had plus postage, and but I took the risk, and I just thought, well, I can't afford to keep doing the free post model. It was going to be better for me personally to do plus post, and so it was either going to be that I had to increase the price of still say I had free post, but I was going to still, at a larger cost. Or if I did it the way that my thinking was, that the price of the item is what the people are going to look at first. And then they'll say, okay, it's plus post, but they'll look at that and mine will still show up cheaper and be plus post. And it seems to have worked okay. I didn't lose out by changing it to plus post, and it's had a lot of advantages for me. But I have just increased my lowest rate, which is where I used to send jeans, from up to $11.50 to incorporate my packaging and handling costs. Because again, if I'm sending something to a metro area, I do get a $2 discount from Australia Post. But if I'm sending it to another rural area, because I'm rural, it's rural to rural, and I get like 50 cents.
Yeah, there's not much slogans. Yeah.
I can't, people have a lot of people have a cheaper postage rate for the small size, and they might say do a $9 because they're on a band 5 and they can do that. I can't, because I'm only on band 4, but also I can't go any lower than a certain point, which would be what, say if I did do that, $10.10, because that's the cheapest. I mean, that's what it would cost me to send something to another rural area.
But you're also forgetting that eBay charges you fees on postage.
Well, that's exactly right. So you have to take that into account as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I do a flat rate, $10.90 for my postage. It was originally $9.99, and they'll most likely move to $11.99 or $12.99. Coming in the foreseeable future. And I think the way that I look at it is Q4 is the perfect time to incorporate a postage price increase from an eBay reseller point of view, right? Because people are just buying crap left, right, and center because they want it, because it's Q4. They're caught up in the festive season, all these different things. They're just constantly buying things. They're not going to notice a discrepancy of $1 that, oh my God, this person put up their postage by $1 in the last 2 weeks, or $2 in the last 2 weeks. You're going to have a lot of one-off buyers. But and I haven't checked my repeat buyers, but they're trickling through. So the percentage is getting higher because eBay now tells you repeat buyers. But
which is good.
But maybe a repeat buy is 1 in every 10 or 1 in every 20 buyers or something along that. So if you're catering towards the one-off buyers, they're not going to really care about it to $2 increase in postage, because they want that item, they're willing to pay for it, and they go from there. So, and Q4, because of the frenzy and because of all the madness of Q4 and the festive season, perfect time to put up your postage by $1 or $2, or even swap to the plus postage model, because you'll have a lot more traffic coming through the door by virtue of people looking to buy things and all these different things. And then you could probably go from that way, and then be a trendsetter in your category, or if you've got a controlling stake in that category, if you're in the first probably top 5 of the eBay report, you could possibly tinker around with how you do it, and make the category move to what you want. Which is what I've done.
I was just going to say, because I do that with the jeans, because it's mine are $11.50. Even though that's dear it probably looks expensive for the small size parcel, most people are putting the medium. A lot of people put the medium size parcel as their postage cost, which means a lot of people are charging $14.50 for their jeans postage, whereas I'm only charging $11.50, which looks better and works.
Oh, that's exactly right. And like I said, that as is the case of, you have to get a feel for the market. You just don't go willy-nilly changing all the different things, because you can price yourself out of the market, and using stamps may be the best way of going forward. $3 is a lot cheaper than $9, especially if it's something that's only costing you $2 or $3 and it's disposable. So if you do get one missing every 100 parcels, so be it. But it's different things you need to weigh up, and it's a case of learning the niche. And we always go back to this, right? If it's a one-off item, do a little bit of research. If you're going to be profitable, no worries, because it's not a repeatable thing. Because you might only find that thing once every 6 years. But like you're saying, if it's jeans or something else that you're selling, and that you're looking to move into the jeans market, you're looking to move into the men's board shorts or something along to that. Learn the niche, work out what the people are doing, the big players, and go from there.
That's right.
A lot of it's repeatable because it's replenishable. Yeah, you'll come across jeans every time you go out. Then it's a case of saying, hey, well, look, these are size 100 jeans or something like that. They're not going to fit in a small parcel. It might be worth passing on them unless they're really rare and intricate. Because they don't fall in my postage model because I can't sell them and put them in the parcel. I'll have to go up to a larger or medium or something like that and pay the extra.
That's right. And that's another thing that people probably do need to look at with their when they're sorting out their postage costs and things is like, do you need to have 5 different ways of sending things? Or are you better off having a niche down postage policy for your business, as in I am only going to buy things that will fit in a small, medium or large satchel. And essentially that's my postage model because I don't want to have things that won't fit in those things, because then I have to go and buy additional types of packaging. And if you have to buy one-offs of certain packaging, it's very expensive. Whereas if you buy the box of 100, for us through Australia Post, it's generally half price. But if you then got to go and buy small, medium, large, extra large, or then go and buy boxes to put things in, as well as having the different size satchels, that increases your cost, and you may only be sending something in the extra large every now and again. You really have to consider those things.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, I was just going to say, so one of the things I do when I do my book bundles, my book bundles have to fit in that either a small, medium or a large. So if I've got, a certain category of books, which I know I had a while ago, which were wildlife books, and I couldn't fit, if I put the whole set, which was 20 books, I would have had to have, gone and got a special box and all the rest of it. And, that then increases my cost. Whereas I could divide that set into 4 and package them in the large thing. So that's what I did, because that's my model of how I do my postage.
Yeah. And that I know we've spoken about this before, Granny. That's what I've moved towards too as well. Like, previously I would Frankenstein boxes or try and buy boxes that were different things, but now even in my other niche that I sell in as well, I look particularly for things that fit in. Like that one, you need to send in boxes, right? You can't get padded mailers because people will start punching you in the tentacles. Tentacles, Granny, tentacles.
Tentacles, yes.
So basically, like I said, the boxes, but the small, medium, large boxes, and extra large, will accommodate with those things. So as long as that I know I can fit into that Australia Post packaging. So for those people overseas, but we and I think we've touched on this before, we have levels of packaging. So we've got small, medium, large, and extra large. We can fit in anything into 5 kilos. So it's about 12 pounds, around about 12 pounds.
Yep.
For a base cost. So it goes anywhere between, just say, $9 up to $20. I think it would be around $25.
Yes.
So we can send that anywhere in Australia for that flat cost. We don't get given our packaging like they do in UPS or USPS. I'm not too sure which one it is in America, but we have to pay for our boxes, and it's a little bit more expensive. But like what Granny says, if you're buying them in bulk because you're sourcing products like jeans, for example, they can fit in a small satchel. So you go buy 100 small satchels, probably maybe $80, $90. I don't buy them, but individually they're like $1.80 each. So you are. If you've got the space to store the small satchels, you can buy. You potentially saving a ton of money in that. The packaging cost.
Yes.
From buying in bulk, and I know a lot of people say buy in bulk, but it's definitely worth moving your model to something that you can actually say, hey, well, look, this is replicable. I can put this book in this satchel, and I can find those books every day of the week. I can fit them in a small satchel. I'm only going to pay $10 that max to send it. Done.
Yep. And see, I used to have, once upon a time when I first started, I used to have the padded mailers, which is what I use for my books. And then I would also have the vinyl satchels to put the clothing in. So I had to buy, and both of those, like the vinyl satchels aren't that expensive, but that's another expense because you have to buy those in bulk anyway. And you're going to buy a minimum of 100 in the padded because they're $89 for a box of 100 versus, as you say, $1.50, $1.80 if you're buying them singly. So I was having both of those, but you can't fit a pair of jeans in the small. Well, you can fit some smaller size jeans in the small size satchel, but a lot of them, if you were going to put them in the vinyl satchel, you would have to go up to the next size. Whereas by putting them in a padded mailer, small size, they will fit. And that's what I use, and that's one less lot of type of packaging that I have to have. And it actually makes even though the padded mailers are more expensive than the vinyl satchels, overall it works out more less expensive because I'm taking less time to do my mail because I'm only using those same things over and over and over and over and over again. So it's much quicker and easier to do your shipping, which is taking less time, which is actually costing less money than if I was going and swapping and having to swap from one to the other.
Well, that's exactly right. Like, a lot of YouTubers say, they don't really bring up time cost into the equation. Like, I know Daily Refinement does because he, measures everything to the millisecond, but it's worthwhile. Like, and I'm pretty sure we've spoken about this before. Is that, and the padded mailer, right? It gives it that extra little bit of protection, but it also gives that the customer thinking, oh, they've forked out the extra to put it in this and protect it. There are a pair of jeans which don't really need protecting because there's the likelihood of them being smashed up by a heavier object that is non-existent. But like you said, it can save you potentially up to 30, 40 seconds. And with the dexterity of my 8 tentacles, it'll probably take me a minute to try and get a pair of jeans into a small satchel. But because there is a size, comparable size difference between a padded bag and like you said, the little plastic satchels. So
I mean they're possibly the same.
The size.
Yeah, they're possibly the same, if you went length by width and did that for both of them, they're possibly got the same cubic measurement, but one's a lot wider and a little bit shorter, whereas the other one might be longer, but it's a lot skinnier and it's a lot harder to fit certain things in there. But I put all my tops and stuff like that in the padded mailers too now. Like they all go in they'll fit in that small size, and the customers actually really appreciate it. And, I get a lot of good feedback saying, it was really packaged well. Thank you so much, because things that arrived and they're not wrecked and then, they're not squished and stuffed or rolled up into a vinyl satchel that's hard to get them into.
Yeah, because I think we've talked about this before. So I use those big freezer bags or the Ziploc freezer bags to put my jeans and the clothes that I sell. And I hate selling clothes. But they slide so easily into the padded mailer because I just, they slide in. It takes about 3 seconds to put it in. Rip the little tab off, slide it up, put a label on. And like you said, it takes about 15 or 20 seconds to package them. Where where you're trying to play yoga with with a little vinyl thing, trying to slide it in, it's not worth it. And like we've said before, Q4 is coming around. If you're some sort of a decent halfway seller, which does a little bit of quantity, you'll probably find there'll be a spike in that in Q4. You don't really want to be wasting your 3/4 of your day packaging. You might be worth paying the extra dollar over the course of the time, doing things just to to make it that little bit quicker, because you can spend that that $3 extra you spend in its packaging to list 4 or 5 more items with probably $80-$90 profit margin. So
and that's and I found that's my biggest change, is that bit of time that I've been surprised how much time I save doing that, and I can put that time into doing listings or photos, and that means I can get more stuff up, which is which again makes it cheaper again, doesn't it?
Well, that's right. It's all opportunity cost, right? If you've only got like 60 minutes an hour, and however many minutes that falls into a day, but if it takes you 20 minutes to package, or if you do it this way, it takes you 5 minutes to package. You've got an instant savings of 15 minutes, which could potentially be 3 listings with X amount of profit. So there's definitely the opportunity cost is there with looking at it from a perspective of paying a little bit extra, getting in all these different things, but postage is such a big cost to your business. It's probably like possibly the biggest cost of your business. It's a recurring cost as well.
Yep, it is mine.
Yeah, and you need to be mindful of the fact is that previously I used to get very coloured packaging for the theme of the store, but now I kind of think to myself, well, I'll go a little bit cheaper and just buy the outside colouring. But before it was the whole item was red boxed inside and out. But now I'm just paying probably that almost 70% less than I was previously for just the outside to be coloured. It's still getting the same effect when a red box rocks up with a label on it, opposed to something that gets opened up and it's red on the inside as well. There's not really, it's negligible to what the customer satisfaction is, right? So it's really cutting down the cost and increasing your cash flow, because Q4 is the time to do it.
Oh, absolutely, it is. Yeah. No, I just think it's such an important issue, and one that people don't often think about, because and especially when they're doing the free post, it's too easy not to take your postage costs into account. And it's just you're not making money.
Well, that's right, and case in point, what I did the other day, right? So I sell a little bit of manga, and I sold a book the other day. So all the manga that I thought I had was plus post, right? So I got a base price, but they are, because they're second-hand books. Plus, I use a plus post model. One of them I actually forgot, and I accepted an offer of $9 and missed it, and it was a free postage. So I'm in the hole of about $4 for that one. So, but having said that, I was quite happy to get it out of the store. Hopefully get a little bit of extra traffic boost from just accepting the offer and moving it on. But that's something you need to be mindful as well. Is you can't. When you're looking at changing to the store, potentially, like if you've got a whole category of, just say manga, for example, make a flat change the whole category to a plus post model. Don't cherry pick. Say, hey, look, this is over $40. I'll use plus post for that, and anything under that, I'll view a free post. Because you get an offer come through, because the market constantly changes. You get an offer come through for $9. You're like, oh, that's all right, because it's plus postage.
Yeah.
It might not be, because like I said, I didn't pay attention to it, so I just accepted the offer. Oh, it's been around a while. I'm glad to get rid of it. But that obviously come bit me back on the tentacle.
Yeah, would have too.
Tentacle.
I also do have to say that having a plus post model does make sending and receiving offers a lot easier too, because you don't have to think. You don't have to think, oh yeah, that's $34 less $10 postage. Like, you don't have to do that. You can just instantly look at the price and decide whether you're going to accept the offer, or whether what sort of price you're going to send it out. So, to me, that's another time saving, because I'm not spending that time, thinking, and it might only be a few seconds for each one that you stop and you have to think. But then over the course of a day, you might send out 20 offers, that there's a minute,
that's right.
That adds up.
And that's exactly right. Like I said, it's your time is money, regardless of which way you look at it, right? Like, it's obviously, thinking about something for 20 minutes over the course of the day could be something you could be doing otherwise, like exercising or doing something in the gardening, or praising your local octopus if you want to do that. But like I said, it's something that you need to weigh up. But I suppose this is probably leading into the little, subtopic of what we're talking about now, is that, do you combine postage if they buy two lots? Do you feel like there's a need? Do you feel, or I'll rephrase the question. Do you feel there's a need to your customer to refund any excess postage that they've paid?
No.
So I'm the same. So basically, if they reach out to me beforehand and say, hey, look, if I buy these two figures behind you on the shelf there, would you combine postage? Yeah, sure, no worries. I'll send you an invoice through. But if they buy two books that I could fit in a small satchel for $9 plus $9 postage each, I'm just going to take the money and run.
Yes, Grumpy Granny does the same thing. I do that. Yep. Yes, if they just pay it. I had one just last week that bought 3 pieces of clothing and paid the price. And I mean, I think my prices were very good, and she obviously liked those items. But she paid for each individual one, and didn't wait for me to calculate up an invoice for her. So away it went, and it all fitted into the one medium size satchel. So
well,
my good luck.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly right. Yeah, like I said, if they reach out to me beforehand, I'm a lot more accommodating than if they reach to me after. Because I had one the other week that like I said, I'm trying to move a certain piece of clothing out of my store, and they sent me a very close to cost price offer through. And I thought, well, I've had this sitting around forever. It was a bad buy. I'm happy to move it on because they're going to pay plus postage.
Yes.
So they bought 3 items, like I said, at a very heavily discounted rate. And they're like, well, I expect you to combine postage. I was like, well, no, this is after they've paid for it, right? So this is not part of the contract that we entered into that you were going to, because these 3 items would have fit in a small packaging, individually, but all 3 of them needed to go into a large packaging, which pretty much ate up the cost of what she paid in postage anyway. So I think, like I said, it's a case that, you probably say, hey, and I do have my listings, right? So basically, if you want to combine postage, contact me before, and I'll either create a special, listing up for you, which is, accommodating with what you want, or, reach out and say, hey, we can buy postage. I can do $10, or I can do $11 or something along lines of that. But I think it's, like I said, I don't go out of my way unless they're a repeat customer. So if the customer, I see them on a weekly basis and they constantly buy a certain line of product from me, constant, I probably would go back just to give them that bit of peace of mind and say, hey, here's your $6 that I saved from doing that. But if it's only a one-off customer,
no, not especially not no way. I mean, yes, same thing. I'll do it if they contact me. I'll combine the things, or if I happen to see it before they've paid, I will combine it. But if they've paid, well, no, I don't go back and do it in retrospect. That's not.
No.
Yeah.
Well, then that's another thing as well, right? Because I'm quite pro the invoice, right? So basically, like I said previously, is that if I'm in front of the Mac or working and something comes through and it's a sale, I'll send them an invoice almost instantaneous. And like I said, if they have bought multiple items, I will give it the best postage rate. I'm not going to be as much as I like being a jerk, I'm not going to be a jerk and charging 3 lots. But if, like I said, if they pay straight away, or I haven't had a chance to send the invoice, and then I hear from them, 3 days after I posted it and said, hey, you're going to refund my money. No, like, the contract's included as far as I'm concerned.
And I mean, quite often I find too, especially with clothing, like if it fits in a small, sometimes depending how bulky the second piece is, they might not fit in a small. So yes, I'm happy to combine the postage, but you can't always fit it in that same size. They might pay that.
Well, that's right.
Well, my rate's $11.50, so they might be thinking I'm going to get both items for a postage cost of $11.50. But if I have to then put it in a medium-sized satchel, well, they then don't get quite that much discount on the combined shipping. But I always do it for whatever it costs. But
that's exactly right, and it also comes into your time. Because like you said, that your model is that it's repeatable. Because a pair of jeans go in a small satchel. You repeat that like almost like it's autonomous, right? But then someone comes in and buys 3 pairs of jeans, which now you have to kind of rethink. Well, I could either send them out individually and charge them $10.90 or $11.90 for each piece, or I can put them in a large thing. That you're wasting time thinking about that, right? So
exactly.
like I said, I'm not here to say, hey, we're going to charge someone $50 postage, for something that's only cost you, $14. That's not realistic, and you probably would revisit that if you had a heart, which I don't.
Yeah.
But
Grumpy Granny would anyway. Yes.
Well, that's right. But like I said, if it's only marginal in the sense of saying, hey, look, they paid $20 postage, it's going to cost you $16 to post it. That $4 is for your time. Nothing's free. Like you've gone to the thrift store, you've gone to the op shop to source the item, you use wear and tear on your vehicle, you got all these different things. And they're paying for the convenience of having it delivered to them. I think it's a case of like I said, if it's not obscene difference in postage in the price, by all means, I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
No, I quite agree. I think it's that's just one of those things that you get to take a little bit of advantage of as a seller, I guess. That and if the customer doesn't contact you and they just pay, well, you just take that money and you run with it.
That's right.
And invest that money back into your business.
Well, that's right.
There's another item that you can put up and list.
Well, I'm 90% sure. So if I'm incorrect, or we'll say if Granny's incorrect, put it in the comment section below and tell us about that. But if you've been promoted listings, does that go off the total of the order? I thought it did. So hypothetically,
yes.
So you could be potentially paying 20% fees, right? So you're paying promoted listing of maybe say 8%, and final value fees are 12% plus your 30%. That's 21%. If you charge $20 postage, and the postage costs $16. Once everything's said and done, that you're breaking even. Like you're probably even losing money because you haven't factored into the price of the packaging, you haven't factored into anything else as well. And they say, hey, look, it only cost you $15 to post. Where's my $6 change? And it's like, well, no, eBay fees showed up that.
And I think that's where probably even people that have been selling for a little while, they may be getting a little bit complacent if they're not, the likes of Chris Furlong, say, that does, line by line accounting all the time and knows exactly, how much each item's cost and what profit he's making of each individual item. A lot of people don't do their accounting that way. So, sometimes even if you've been doing it for a while, you might want to just, spend half a day and just have a look at your figures just to make sure, because with all the increases in the cost of the packaging's increased, the cost of your postage has increased, the cost of what you're paying for your goods has increased most of the time. So, yet you're still selling it for the same price, if not cheaper, because that's what the market says. Then maybe you need to stop and have a look and just see how much profit you are making, if any, on some of your items.
Well, that's right, but you also got to take the item to the post office. So potentially that's chewing up petrol, which has gone up in price as well. So it might be a case of saying, hey, well, look, this niche is no longer profitable, or it's no longer something that I can survive in, because previously I was making $4 or $5 a unit, which is quite low for profit margin, depending on what it is. But now that makes 53 cents or something like that when you factor in all your costs. But you need to be really mindful and, like you said, know your numbers and know your figures, because and it's not localized to Australia either. People in the UK that I speak to and people in the US I speak to as well, is that they're all finding postage prices, like fuel prices, gas prices are shooting up, electricity prices, all these things that you don't think on the face value of things, a contributing factor. Like when you use your Dymo label, you're paying for, or your Rollo, whatever whatever system you're using, you're paying for labels you don't take into consideration for. You're using the cost of the good. Like printing off 1,000 labels might damage the machine to the point where you have to replace the machine every 1 year, and all these different things. So like where your $5 profit margin, well, something it could be you're losing money every item you're selling, because you're not factoring in that minuscule detail. What's going on. And like I said last week, it's a case of you may really enjoy that, and by all means continue doing it if you can offset it with something else, because like I said, if you can control the niche, you can pretty much control the pricing. But if you're selling men's jeans or ladies' jeans and it's no longer profitable, but you really enjoy that, find another niche that has such an obscene profit margin that you can sell that, and it offsets the losses you got from your jeans. But I really don't see that being a good long-term business strategy. You don't really want to be. You don't want to be selling profitless items. Like
exactly.
And I got caught into it as well. Like I really enjoyed selling video games at one time, because I get them pretty often. They're quite accessible, quite cheap on the secondary market. But the prices of those have gone up to the point we were talking about this morning in our accountability live, is that people on Facebook Marketplace, where I used to source religiously, are asking eBay prices plus $70. Like a Mario game on the Nintendo Switch that the last sold comp was $110. This guy's trying to flog it up for $170, and his justification is that I don't want to give it away. And it's like, well, you're not going to sell it in the other way as well, mate. Like, I don't care who you think you are. But like I was saying, it's become unrealistic from that perspective as well, is that you might really know that market, you might really like that market, but you could be easily priced out of the market. Someone else could get them cheaper, or they can do some other way of sourcing. It's no longer for you.
It seems a little bit too, doesn't it? Like a lot of people that are selling on Facebook Marketplace, it's almost like now there's a bit of a like almost a virus, I'll say, spreading through sellers on Facebook Marketplace, that have all of a sudden, it's hit them in the head that maybe we should look up and see if this is valuable on eBay before we sell it on Facebook Marketplace. And if it's going for a good price on eBay, but they'll look at what the trouble is, they don't know how to look things up on eBay properly, so they'll look at what's listed and think, well, there's one's listed on there for $70, so that's what I'm going to sell mine for. but they're not taking into account that's not what the last one sold for, because the last one, someone could list it for $70, but that doesn't mean to say that's what they're selling for. The last one might have sold for 40.
Well, case in point, this Mario game, right? So yeah, for those playing at home, it's that 3D Mario All Stars. It was a limited release. It was only released for, I think it was about a year. It came out, and then after that, Nintendo scrapped it, right?
Yep.
So the last one that sold was $110. So after fees and postage, because it was free postage, you say conservatively $85 because they put a promoted listing on it, right? This guy's selling his copy for $170.
Wow.
And so it's not as they say, hey, look, it's selling on eBay for $110. That's what I want. It was like, well, mate, the seller only pocketed $85. But no, he's trying to sell it, for $85 more than the profit margin of the previous one. And it's going to get to the point where, and like, we've spoken about this previously, is that, it's collectors and it's resellers that are using the Facebook Marketplace platform, to offload their goods and, at a higher price, all these different things. And like you said as well, is that, local, mum and dad, I suppose, are looking at it going, oh, well, it's selling on eBay for $50. Someone will pay me $50. And it's the same as the thrift store or the op shops. That they're the same. That it's selling for $50 on eBay. And it's like, well, you've got to pay 20% in fees. You've got to do postage. You've got to do all these different things. So you walk away probably $35 postage. $30. After whatever. Well, that's not necessarily profit after you take away the cost of goods. But people
absolutely.
Yeah. Do you think I should be paid for, pay you for my convenience for coming to pick it up? Like, that I don't know how you think like this. A lot of the deals here in the Bermuda Triangle are about 40 minutes away, right?
Yeah.
So there's an older part of the Bermuda Triangle which has a lot of the collectible stuff that I sell. But like I said, it's a 40-minute drive, and if they all move to eBay pricing, it's not cost effective for me to come and pick it up where like I can get on eBay for the same price, got all the protections, from a buyer protection point of view, saying, hey, look, if it doesn't work or if it's ripped or gets lost and all these different things, but as soon as I hand the cash over on Facebook Marketplace, there's no other protections than that.
Very true. No, things have certainly changed, over the last few months. Like I'm going to say, things today with how things are selling on eBay and Facebook Marketplace and, probably the other platforms that we have in Australia, things have really changed in the last 6 months with, pricing. It's, quite interesting. But, if you're not really being totally aware of how much it's costing you, promoted listings, for example, if you're doing dynamic promoted listings, you can't be sure what percentage you're actually paying. So you have to wait until you get charged for how much that is. If you're doing a flat rate, yes, you can, but I bet you anything that your flat rate of promoted listings is more today than what it was 6 months ago, because you've probably, like everybody else, just been increasing it slowly, bit by bit, and not actually taking that into account either, that you're actually paying, instead of paying $1.54 in fees, you might actually be paying $2.30 in fees. And that little bit of money taking out of your profit might be making a big difference in the end.
Well, and that's something else to consider when you're accepting offers as well, or even sending offers out, is that extra 5%, because people have a tendency to round down, right? So we're just say, because I do a flat rate of 5% for my promoted listings, but I'll round up, so that's probably works out to be about 17%, right? Like after all those different things, so I'd round up to 20%, because you got the 30-cent fee, you got all these different things that can fall into that category as well. But if I shear 20% off that, is it still enough profit margin to be worth my while? Like I said, that obviously depending on how long the item's been sitting around. If it's been sitting here for years and like laughs at me every time I walk into the Octo storage room, I'd probably be inclined to get rid of it a lot cheaper than I would be otherwise.
Yes.
But if it's only been listed, for the space of overnight or the couple of days, and then someone sends through an offer through, which is and a lot of other YouTubers say, hey, look, recycle the money, move it on, but I don't see that being profitable if you're only scraping through for about $2 or $3. Like by all means, if it's if you're making $100 profit on it and you can move it today for a $60 profit, by all means, I'd do that.
Yes,
But
exactly.
if it's from a $15 to like a $6 profit, not even interested.
Yeah, no.
And
you know, there's a difference between, you know, selling it for saying, you know, people saying, oh, you know, let it go and get the cash flow because you're selling it for $15. But if that means at $15, that's your break even point, then what's in it for you? Nothing. Like, so your minimum should be, you know, 17 at least.
Yeah.
Or 19 even, so that you make sure that you are actually making a bit of money out of it.
Well, that's right. And the thing is, and like you were saying before, is you got to factor in your time because you went and sourced the product. You went and you just don't. It doesn't materialize in your eBay store already. You listed and ironed and washed and all these different things. Yeah, and that's another thing people don't take into consideration. Like washing powder or washing tablets or whatever you're using to factor, and wear and tear in your washing machine, all these different things if you sell
and
clothes.
your dryer if you need to use it. And a lot of people do use their dryers for eBay clothing because then they don't have to iron it. So
that's right. That's exactly
and if you iron it, there's some more time.
If I get fat, I just put myself in the dryer and I find I shrink a little bit more. but that's the case. You need to take into consideration everything. So I think unless you're making a healthy profit on an item, it's just a case of passing it on, regardless if you've been in that niche for a long period of time or just a short period of time, or even if you really enjoy it. Like I said, video games, your low level video games are going for $6 or $7 or $8 free postage now. Then you look on Facebook Marketplace and you can't get them cheaper than $10. Or even if you get them from the op shop for $1 or $2, it's no longer worth it because you've got all these different factors to take into consideration.
Yeah. And look, if you're someone that's doing it part-time, and you're just doing it as a little bit of a side hustle, just to earn a little bit of hobby money, then look, it's possibly not such a consideration. But at the same time, even doing it as a side hustle for a hobby, do you want to do that at a loss?
That's right.
Just because you're selling stuff on eBay, like, do you still want to be losing money while you're doing it?
So Mrs. Octopus and I would talk about this earlier, right? So I think it's a good business strategy for a brand new kid. Like, it's obviously a 15-year-old looking for their first job, right?
Yep.
So that their time, I'm not trying to discount that, but their time is not as valuable compared to ours, right? So, but realistically, they could probably, learn, how to make profit on it, how to sell on eBay, how to do all these different things, and learn the processes, and potentially make $2 or $3 profit on everything that they sell.
Yeah.
But because all their other basic humanities functions are covered, right? So basically, their house is over their head and all these different things. But
the cost of living is pretty low.
Well, that's right. Everything else has been provided for you by your parents or your sick, or someone that looks after you. But that's a skill set that will come in handy later down the path. And once you branch into things, you might say, "Hey, look, I know, cosplay, or I know dresses or something along lines of this, and I can make obscene amount of money on the ones that people don't know about." So that $2 or $3 because you've learned how to sell on eBay can potentially net you $300, $400, $500 in sales on every item you sell because you just learnt the processes. Well, it's cheap for you to do. So, but like I said, if you are supporting a family or you're looking at replacing your full-time income, it's something you need to be very conscious of. Just don't jump in there willy-nilly.
Yeah. And just don't say, well, everyone else is selling, their particular book, the Boys Own Annual, and it's everyone's selling it for $15 free postage, so I have to sell mine for $15 free postage. No, you don't. And quite often I will find that happens when I go on and comp a book, and I'll see everybody might be selling it, say, for $20 free postage, and I look at it and I can't sell it for $20 free postage. It's not that I'll lose money, but to me, that's not worth listing it. But I think my book is actually more valuable because the condition of it's a lot better, number one. And plus, if I bothered to individually go in and have a look, probably all those other listings are not doing international shipping, because I can list that book and list it at, a reasonable price. And I would probably list it at $29.95 plus postage. And, I might have someone interested in it. I'll send them an offer around the $25, $26 mark, and they accept it. And the next thing I know, I'm sending it to America or I'm sending it to the UK because no one else has got international post.
Yeah, and then that's something that irks me, and that makes me a very disgruntled octopus. Is that what I find scrolling through Instagram, and Chris Lynn will probably chase me down because I'm using social media instead of listing. But what I find is that people spend 15 or 20 minutes perfecting some talking piece in a story about how that should they go to International Post and do a poll up and all these different things. And it's like, geez, you could have, for that 15 or 20 minutes you set up, making yourself look beautiful and putting a poll up there and talking about it. You could have got off your butt and bloody learn how to do it. Watch one of Grumpy Granny's videos because I've been told they're very good. I haven't watched them myself because I don't stoop that low. But hey, by all means, go across and have a look.
You lie. I'm sure you have watched at least one of them.
Yeah. But like I said, that use that time to invest it, because social, like Instagram, for example, is not going to, and doing a poll to your 16 followers, isn't going to generate that cost, other than a little ego boost and say, hey, wouldn't it? Oh, 3 people said yes, I should do International Post, and leave it at that. That's just.
Yeah, and you don't make an eBay. You don't make a YouTube channel about reselling in the hope that it's going to boost your eBay business, because and that's not why I did mine, and that's not why the way it's turned out That's just been a natural attrition. The way Leanne morphed into Grumpy Granny, and here I am with my rollers. It just happened, and I'm having lots of fun. This is my fun part of my day. I don't get money from YouTube because I'm not monetized.
I don't pay you.
No, and Octo doesn't pay me because he doesn't get money from YouTube either. So, we're doing this as a bit of fun. We like it. We enjoy it. We think we've got some valuable information that we can give people. And this is part of, we schedule this in. I have scheduled listings that go up on a Thursday to make sure I'm covered for the day that I'm doing my videos and stuff. And it's a release. It's great fun. It's different to doing the eBay stuff and gives me a break. And the same with your Instagram. It's no good keeping on continually putting up pictures of, I found this and I sold this for this, in the hope that that's going to boost your eBay business, because it's not.
No, that's right. And I agree 110% with that. Like, I think you could have been a little bit more disgruntled in your delivery, but no. You're 100% right. Like, it's an opportunity cost, right? I can spend the next 3 hours of scrolling through Instagram and make myself look really good in this angle, and the light I'm shining on my face saying, hey, look, I'm really sad because I missed this thing in the op shop. But like we said previously, you can use that 15 minutes a day to learn a new niche. Hey, look, I want to learn about playing cards, or I want to learn about boxes and matches, or I want to learn about buttons, or I want to learn about these different things that's like so obscure, people are like, what? Then when you do find something that's readily accessible, because no one knows what the hell they are, you've got like a $40 or $50 per piece profit margin, because you've learned a little bit about it, and you constantly keep doing it. And don't go out and buy a big lot because you think, I'll learn this because I bought it for $100 on eBay, on Facebook Marketplace. It's probably been picked through.
Yes,
yes. It's probably gone through about 8 resellers before it.
Yeah, and look, I'm currently in the process of doing that with a particular type of product, which I won't talk about because I don't want everybody else running off and finding all those things. But look, it's one of those things that it is rare, and I'm finding that most op shops have a little stash of it put away somewhere, and it's
I thought marijuana was legal in op shops.
Shh. They have a little stash of it put away, and it's cheap as chips, and I haven't listed any yet. I'm in the process of just doing the research on it, and that's my little time that I'm spending, about an hour a day getting in and researching it, and I need to get just a few more pieces, and then I will start listing it, and we'll see how we go. But I think it's going to be quite a niche little money maker, and something that not a lot of people are selling, but it'll be good profit for me, and because it is a rare type of thing, people do collect it though.
Yes, that's cool. We'll have to wait with our bated breath.
You will.
But
I don't know. I can't talk about it because I don't really know enough about it yet, because it is a new area for me, and I'm just getting into finding out the ins and outs of it, and all that sort of stuff, and what you can get, what is actually available. Because there's no good in me thinking, well, this is a really rare thing, and yes, I got the ones that my local op shop had, and they sold me 10 things for $2. But if that's the end of it, if I can't get that anywhere else, what's the point? in me spending,
Well,
2 weeks researching it.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Like, before we wrap it up, because we're quite pressed on time, the high tide's coming in. But the thing is, though, is that, like that, I had like it felt like a limitless supply of manga, right? So I had
Yep.
4 bulk deals of manga, and quite accessible at the local thrift shop I was using. Then it all dried up. I was sitting at number 1 on the used manga on the eBay metrics for months and months and months. But then all of a sudden, I couldn't get any manga that fit with my metrics. So I've abandoned that, for all intents and purposes, that niche, because it's not replenishable. And like I said, I can't get to the point where. And I do find that manga's probably gone a little by the wayside now. That it's not as popular.
I feel it has too. Yeah.
For COVID, everyone was locked inside and they're looking for a bit of escapism. It was quite an accessible, thing for like that. But like I said, that it's no longer worth my time picking it up unless I can get it for like 10 or 50 cents. Then you can go from that perspective. So that's something you need to look at as well. And like Liam was saying, it needs to be replenishable and replicable. So. You need to be able to, constantly find that, or find the source where it comes from. Go to the source and say, hey, look, I know you throw it out, you use it as firewood, or you throw it at people as they drive past. Can you give it to me? So.
Yeah, because look, no matter what anyone says, you need to be consistently listing in a category to get your items noticed. Because you might list one thing in that category. If that's the only thing you ever list in it, there's chances are your listing is not going to show up very high in the search results, unless you're the only person with that particular item.
No, well, that's exactly right. Yeah, like you obviously get your new listing boost for 24 hours, but it quite quickly gets lost in the sea of listings if that's the case. But I think that's us done for another week, Granny. I think
it is.
So
it is.
Are you here next week? I'm not too sure. Or the week after? I can't remember.
So what's the date today?
Have I killed you off too quick?
No, you've killed me off too quick. I will be here next week. It'll be the week after. I won't be.
That's right. We'll kick her off. So basically, long story short, Granny and I are looking at doing some more segments. So it won't be so much of a hodgepodge thing, because a lot of our audience like the segments we do. So we will look at doing more segments, probably highlighting some other stuff as well. So so look forward to that. So when Granny is laying on her back, dying and withering in pain, we'll make sure we continue and keep laughing at her.
Yeah, thanks very much.
But like, before we go, make sure you like and subscribe to this video if you haven't already done so. And like, I can't say enough, go out and reach out to Grumpy Granny Flipper. Go on her YouTube channel, give that a like and a subscribe, because it's a lot of really in-depth videos. And like I said, they pertain to the international market as well. So they're not only Australian-centric videos.
They are. I mean, a lot of my videos are showing you how to use the eBay platform, like right from scratch, like to show you how to do particular things that you may not be aware of that even exist on eBay, or showing you, a way to do postage policies or whatever. And even though the ones I'm showing you are Australian postage policies, you can still set up, US postage policies or UK postage policies or Brazilian postage. You set them up the same way.
That's right.
It's just following the steps. Yeah.
And as much as it pains me, a lot of the feedback that I receive from that channel is that it's fantastic, and a lot of people gush over Granny, which makes me quite nauseated. But hey, by all means, go give her a check out. Give her a sub. Get it monetized so she doesn't have to worry about me forking out for her appearance fees.
Oh yeah, because you pay me so much. Yes.
No. So you're getting paid in donuts, as in zero.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But thank you, everyone, for another week. We'll see you for episode 12 next week.
Hooray.
Bye. Oh, hang on. We're doing it again, Granny. We can never work out with the hang on.
And I have to sit here and have a funny face for how long?
That's right. That's exactly right. And before we go, don't forget Octo's 8 at 8 every Saturday night.
Yes.
You already missed the first one, but by all means, catch the next.